Blessings and welcome, everyone. I am Tuesday Mae Thomas, and this is your weekly tarot energy forecast for October 14th through October 21st of the year 2017. Thank you so much for joining me, for subscribing, for commenting, sharing, and liking my videos. I'm very grateful for the community we're beginning to build here. Beginning on the launch day of my book, The Reiki Apprentice, October 19th. I think that's when I'm going to start to do my live YouTube shows, so keep an eye out. I'll put a little YouTube mini, like 10-second video up to let you know for sure once I know the time. So keep an eye out. I look forward to receiving your comments and having some feedback and chatting about everything Reiki, everything metaphysics, everything healing, and heaven on earth. Let's go ahead and get started with our reading. We're going to start to shuffle and take a nice breath. Calling in our angels, our guides, our divine beloved beings that help us, that surround us, that open the way for us, that hold the light for us, that support us, that uplift us. Oh, we thank you so very much, our angels, our ascended masters, our guardian angels, beloved ones who've passed from this life, who perhaps act as angels for us now. We thank you, and we call you in, all of those high beings. We call you in for the highest good, that your divine guidance may serve this reading. I call in my angels and my guides, all those divine beings that work with me, my totems. I invite you to call in your totems as well. And I ask that I may serve the most beautiful, powerful messages here, now, and evermore. And for every person that's guided, oh, I think we had a popper. For every person that's guided to join us, for even a portion or the whole reading, may they receive what they need to hear from this reading. Okay, there's more poppers. We're going to stop right there. And this chunk fell out, so we're just going to keep that there. But I think we might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have a good start. Now this is very interesting. Okay, first up is celebration. And then we have the dream, sharing, exhaustion. And it's so interesting. So there's a story about these tarot cards. I know my mom, when she watches these, she's like, you got to get a new deck of cards. Those things are falling apart. And by the way, I live in the desert, and so I have the fan on right now. I've noticed when I do these, the air conditioner is right above my head on the wall. And when I do these readings with the AC on, it's very disturbing in the noise field. So I'm so happy that it's becoming cooler out here in the desert. I don't have to have that on all the time. The mornings are really chilly out here in the desert, but the days are still very, very warm. So I have the fan on, so I've got my Beyonce thing going on. Anyway, back to the cards. So, at the Rainbow Festival in 1998, before Lady Gaga, before Twitter, before Facebook, before flat screen TVs, I was backpacking Europe. I landed on a mountain in Greece and lived without electricity with a tribe of people for 2 months. During that time, I had some major realizations, and that is all documented in my book, The Reiki Apprentice. I'll have links in the description box for my books. I have free books as well when you subscribe to my website, and also a free book called The Nowosphere on iBooks and Kindle that you can grab anytime. It's a mini book. It's really easy to read, and it's very potent, very powerful. So that said, I was on the mountain, and I had taken LSD, and upon the next day, coming back into my body, so to speak, I had my cards. These are my cards. They've been with me since then. That was 1998. I either got them in 97 or 98, so I've had them ever since. And that day that I was sort of re-landing back into my body, I had my cards on me, and I had these divine epiphanations to give certain cards to certain characters that I had made connections with on that mountain. And it was a very sincere, beautiful offering. And so I'd be like, you are this card. You represent this card. This card belongs to you. And that was a part of my journey on coming back into my body. And then when I got back to the States from traveling, I realized, oh my gosh, this is my favorite deck in the world, and I've just given away about 12 cards. So I found a way to copy the color pictures, and I cut out cardboard, and I remade my own cards. And I even glued, I color copied the backside art, and I re-glued 12 of them back together. Like, here's the dream. This is one that I had to redo. And you can see the paper's all worn down. The edge is like the glue is coming off. Oh wait, it's this side. And the back cover has already come off. So I'm getting to this. There's a reason. Because for some time there has been this card that's completely lost its front. I don't even know. And believe me, that book, that little booklet that came with this, that I like originally learned off all the meanings and what it all meant, and then like threw that out the window and allowed Source to use that energy and gather from divine wisdom to share in these tarot readings. So since I've come back, I've redid the cards, and this one card has eluded me because I can't remember what it was. I'm sure if I did some homework and research, I could figure it out. But this card has not come up. This card has not come up. I do readings for people on the phone. I do readings for clients. And this card has never, ever come up. And I see it in there, though. And when I shuffle, I see it, and I'm like, ooh, like, what card did that used to be? I can't remember. So I was like, this is the wild card, man. The day that this one actually pops out in a reading, this is going to be big news. So I'm just saying, here it is. So this is, I don't even know what to say about it, but it's powerful. So in the meantime, we'll see where that goes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Let's get at least another one from this smaller portion of the deck that fell out. So I hope you enjoyed my intro story, but all of my backpacking adventures are in my book, The Reiki Apprentice, and if you're enthralled, I think you'll enjoy. So let's see. Okay, this one. Conditioning. Oh, this was with us last week. Huh. Okay. So let's take a moment and digest all of this. So intuitively, what I'm just feeling cosmically, and maybe you're feeling it too, is mega change. So this week feels very, very profoundly potent. I don't know if you're already feeling it, but it's like inviting us. It's not like change is on the horizon. It's like the universe is saying, like, hello, Tuesday, it's time to change. You know, and it's like have you gotten that phone call yet? I feel like it's just, it's happening. It's on. Whatever it is, there is some very, very powerful, like DNA level shifts and change happening within us. And it's really important for us to take care of ourselves and to be mindful of how we navigate with our energy at this time. And I want to bring our attention to the exhaustion card. Now, we've had him before, and he symbolizes being burnt out. I mean, look at him. He's definitely burning the candle at both ends. He's exhausted. All the metal and the wiring, all misplaced, and it's jalopied. It's all zigzag. This plugged into that, plugged into this. He's not happy. He's not happy. Look at him. He's ready for Halloween, though. I mean, look at him. He's exhausted. So that's a card of fire, and that says we are doing too much in the wrong directions. So where in your life, work, family, friends, events, where in your life can you reel it in and do less? This is a time right now, because the change is so high, this is a time where less is more. This is a time where we get to learn how to utilize our energy like a master, where we learn how to do less to achieve more. So what does that even mean? That means definitely meditate in the morning when you wake up, so that you have a sense of connection to Source, and Source will always keep you in tune. Once you stay in tune with that connection, that Source will always will give you guidance, will show you which way to go and where, where and how to expend your energy appropriately. I remember when I was learning this learning curve, I would actually ask the universe. I would say, show me. in my meditations, I would say, show me, I have like 20 things I need to do. Show me the top 5. Like, what are the priorities? Because I think I know what the priorities are, but then I just keep wasting time and procrastinating, and I really don't know. So just show me, tell me, and the universe, the divine order that it is, will give you that supply. It will offer divine insight and guidance. So that's one level. There's also a level of you already know. You already know that you answer the phone to that person too often and you take their calls. You know, I invite you guys to email to me, but I need to balance the time I spend on social media with the time I spend with things that I love to do in my life. So there's always a waiting period. If you contact me, there's priority things, and you know, when I get back, it's always with love, but it's divinely timed. You know, I say, universe, you know, what's the priority here? What am I supposed to do? And it's usually the things that help me take care of myself first, that those are taken care of, that my own maintenance is handled. And then the order of importance of things then falls into place from that order. Now, it is tricky though, because the other fire card we have is sharing. So there's a part of us that is ready to share, that wants to share. This is also a fire card. And she is a goddess. She is glowing. She is beautiful. She is radiant. Her first 3 chakras are absolutely spanking, just clean and clear and activated and shining. She is fully grounded. She is fully connected to her purpose. She is fully owning it. And she is crowned because she's owning it. The crown comes naturally. Your divine inheritance of being crowned in this universe and being given superpowers in the direction that you're guided to live your life only happens when you say yes to those parts of your life. Okay, now it's coming together. I'm getting it. We have to commit. We have to commit. There's some people that I know and that I work with that really suffer from depression, like suicidal depression. And where suicide is a constant, and it's always a possibility on the table for them, you know. And this is, there's a lot of things, but to keep it short and to keep it concise with what I'm getting at here, is that without committing to life, there's always going to be death knocking at your door, that invitation to take the easy route. And maybe it's not always easy. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, it can seem easier to just bail than to be present with what abides, to be present with those feelings. And why doesn't life show up for us? Well, if we're not showing up for life, it has nowhere to meet us. So I really hope, and with great respect, and believe me, I've been there myself, and with loved ones, with not wanting to live and not wanting to be here, so I get it. But the mystical, magical point, and I think we're getting a little deep because Jupiter is in Scorpio. It's going to be in Scorpio for the next 12 or 13 months. Again, I'm not an astrologer, but I love astrology, so you might want to check that out and how that affects you. It just means that we're going to be starting to go deeper in how we express ourselves and with what we want in life. And so, given that, this is very important. So again, just reminding us that when we say yes to ourselves, when we own ourself, the truth within us, we share that naturally. The platter of the blessings that this female energy is bestowing is her gift to the world. And she is crowned by the Most High, but because she is actualized and she is realized and saying yes to the truth in her heart. And by her saying yes to that, saying yes to life and committing to her truth, life gives her more to celebrate. It gives her more to share. And it's interesting because even though this is a card of fire and this is a feminine energy and it's a very goddess energy, you know, the goddess receives, the goddess is magnetic, the goddess doesn't work too hard. The goddess listens, the goddess is receptive, she is grounded, she is feminine, she is nurturing. Yet here, there's this beautiful balance of this fire energy that is extending her power, her energy, her love, her light, her offerings, her gifts are extending out to the world, and she's sharing very naturally. And so there's a difference between sharing and exhaustion. This is the burnout. This is when your sharing is coming from a place that's not real. This is when you're not committed, or when you've committed to people, places, and things that you really don't want to be committed to. That's what happens. That's what happens. Is you forget who you are, you forget your truth, and you start, what's that word? It starts with an R. Help me, help me, help me. Help me, guys, girls, help me. Not rescind, but and not resist, although it is resisting. I don't know, it'll come back to me. But we begin to regret. It's coming. It's an RE word. Okay, maybe you guys got it. But basically, there's a fine line this week. The universe is saying big change is happening. The God phone is calling. I'm going to pull out the God phone for our for our YouTube live. It's a red telephone. I won't give it a debut today, but I'll wait till October 19th. But it's a red telephone that I would pass out sometimes at meditation classes, and it would be the God phone, or whatever name you give that source, that energy, and we would pass it around, and everyone would be like, hello, and that source, that God, that divine great spirit, what name you give it, omniscient, would have a message for you. Why am I saying all that? Okay, so because God has a message for you this week, and you probably are already feeling it. You probably already know. What do you have to drop? What do you have to let go? And not even what do you have to, but what do you get to? What do you get to? Just let go. Stop. Stop overextending yourself. Stop staying later at work than you know you can. You want to go home to your family, or you're a writer, or you're an artist, but you're not writing and you're not making art. And that was a big one. For years I was a writer and I never wrote, but I wrote a little bit, but I'd be like, yeah, I'm a writer. And I had I had some writing, but I wasn't writing consistently. And it was only when I started making room in my life, because I was too busy to write all the time. And that was my excuse. So this is a story here. So if there's things in your life that you're not experiencing enough of that you really want to, and you're getting exhausted doing all sorts of other things that you really know better, that they're not making you happy and serving you, and they're not making you feel like this abundant and cornucopia and sharing and giving from that just infinite well, I am the faucet and not the water, then it's time to check yourself. It's time to check your priorities. And it's time to make time on purpose to do more of those things that you want to include in your life. Whether it's exercise, whether it's eating better, whether it's spending more time in nature, spending time with your family, with your friends, your girlfriends, your dude friends, your trans friends, making art, meditating, reading, going on vacation, I don't know, whatever it is, wine tasting, whatever it is, but to actually make time for that. Okay, so last week we had the conditioning card. And this was major, because this was fully unraveling the old stories. This is a major arcana, and it's the only major arcana in our spread thus far. I don't know if we'll be guided to pull more cards, but it's the only major arcana. So it's saying that this is still happening. And last week it was all about the undoing of subconscious and unconscious patterns that are running our life. So if we put that together with the exhaustion card, and we think about how some of these old patterns just have us like the hamster on the hamster wheel, where we're just running and running and going and going. But where are we going? Where are we going? We don't even know. We're just like machine, key in the door, turn the door, go to work, get the coffee from Starbucks, do my job, go home, eat the food, go to bed. Is that what we're doing? And I don't mean that that's a bad thing, but where in our life is it robotic like that? Is it just like an automatic thing where we don't get to, have some crazy, shake it up, go to a dance class, go to Zumba, or get in the pool and swim a few laps and shake it up and go to a drum class and play drums, or shake your booty and go to a drum circle, or, whatever it might be, do some funky stuff and let your cells percolate and jive with new energy and new people. so that you can find out who you are beyond the conditioning that you've been given in this lifetime. Okay? So this is still on the rise. This is you breaking through. You're the lion. And remember, the lion is fierce. The lion has a huge heart, as does this sharing character. Yet that heart and that fierceness is bound, as long as we are bound, to all the rules that society, the world, our families, traditions, cultures, religions have implanted into us, that we've been given upon our birth for our stay on this journey. Now I said I was going to do it, and I did another trinary video, trinary 2. I will put a link. I think it's on this side. I'll put a link. No, it's over here. I'll put a link over here. All things metaphysical, all things esoteric, all things chakras, Merkaba, consciousness, the matrix, the grids of this universe. Do check it out. I'm honored and grateful to share it with you, so that we can learn this new language of light together and begin to bridge heaven on earth consciously from a space of the heart. So, continuing with the releasing of the conditioning. So this is very interesting, because the dream, this is a card of the emotions, and if we look, there's this girl sort of looking over her shoulder, thinking about this romantic episode where she's being held by this like big hunk, and she's like, oh, I wish, where's my dream man? Or maybe it's an ex that she's still longing for. She's like, oh, it's a dream. So, and this is definitely a card of romance, but there's something very Neptunian here, and what I mean is that there's something very fantasy here, which is cool as long as you know it's a fantasy. As long as you know that it's fantasy, and that until it's real, it's not real. But even sometimes when something becomes real, it's still not real. So this is, believe me. Some of you are like, girl. Okay. So with the dreamer, or the dream, pardon me, where, even though this card has a deeply romantic root, okay, we'll talk about that first. So romantically, what do you want and what do you have? Where's the mismatch? What has your society told you need to do? Like for years, I was under the spell of thinking I needed to be married. It's not the place in my heart that I really want to be, though. But I thought that's what I wanted to do. That's what society told me as a woman, and of a certain woman my age, I need to be in this and do that, and with even being a whatever spiritual person, I was like, that was still like a subliminal, and I was like, yeah, I need to do this, and that was like, boom, I broke through that. So, where in your relationships, romantically and otherwise, are you fantasizing and holding a certain relationship in a certain way that it's just not? And I'm like, sorry, not sorry. I know that's like a cheesy hashtag right now, but the truth is that the truth is important for you to know, and the truth shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. So where, again, exhaustion, conditioning, where are you overextending? Are you in a relationship right now where you're just like giving and giving and giving and wishing that things were a certain way, but they're just not? So what's going on with that? Meditate on it. Journal about it. I'm not here to tell you what you need to do. Your heart, your soul is going to tell you. Your higher self is going to guide you in what that is. Yet, this is definitely something very fantasy. And again, if you know it's fantasy, if you're cool with fantasy, and you're like, I can do fantasy, I want to chill, I want to do this, I can have a lover on Facebook. Sure, as long as you realize that it's a lover on Facebook. You get my drift? I don't know how much clearer I can be. So beyond the romantic aspect, where are you looking over your shoulder and daydreaming about a life that you wish you had that's just not there? Well, you have to commit and say yes to the truth in your loins, in your heart and in your loins. This is like, I'm telling you, God's calling. This is like, we're getting real. Remember last week, it was like, here we go, here we go, here we go. The baby was born. Baby was born. Baby's being born. And once that baby comes out, life is different. Are you going to be this? Are you going to hold on to this? Are you going to just sit around and dream about things being different? Or are you going to do this? Are you going to own it? You're going to work it? You're going to share it and shine that light? Because what comes after is celebration. And we've had these girls before, so we know this is our birthright. This is our birthright celebration. This is the emotions when they are beautifully activated. 3 goddesses dancing barefoot in the rain, with the rain falling and the leaves whooshing and their hair swishing and the puddles under their feet. That's powerful. That's magic. That's mojo. That again is that divine feminine, that goddess energy, which you have if you're male or female. Trans, anything in between. We have that. We all have access to that, to those 3, that trinity of the goddess within us, and the ability to shine and share and be powerful in the world. So this is interesting because it's almost like, remember we were saying the lion is fierce, it's full of heart, and the lion is very masculine, but the energy that how it's telling us this week that it wants to come through, that it needs to come through us, at least for this week. We don't know. We'll see what happens next week. But is in this feminine way, there's something God's calling, right? And it's saying like, come on, step up, and it's asking for us to do things in a new way that's not going to steal our energy, that's not going to be overextending us in ways that we no longer wish to show up in the world. It's time to celebrate. It's time to give thanks, to bless ourselves, to bless our families, our friends. Wake up and express your gratitude. Wake up and in the morning, and count the 10 things that you're grateful for, people, places, things, whatever it is. And we end on the wild card. I'm going to have to see, or maybe I won't see. I don't know, but this is the wild card. So this to me tells me that this is a week where big, massive things could happen in our higher good, in beautiful, beautiful, powerful, blessed ways that serve our good, your good, my good, and everyone in our circles, everyone around us. This feels like the ripple effect kind of good, where it's good for you, it's good for everyone else, it's good for the world. So your potential of owning this, because remember, we're giving birth, we've given birth, and letting this party, this celebration, this like, this is me, and this is like all your people being like, we see you, girl, and you're like, I know, right? Woo-hoo! And they're like, woo, we got you, let's come dance, let's party, let's celebrate you. I know, I'm here, I'm going to shine my light, woo, woo, woo. And they're like, come on, come on, come on. It's time to celebrate. So stay plugged in. Meditate. It's getting darker and darker in here. Meditate, meditate, meditate. Stay in tune with the truth in your heart. But there's even a pool deeper. I mean, it's always in your heart, but it's always in your loins too. Like in your gut, in your pelvis, like the feeling. And maybe you feel removed from that feeling and you don't even know, like, what does that even feel like? How does that even feel if I did have a feeling in my loins? Well, this is the week. Ask the question. Universe, show me how it feels to feel truth in my loins. Thank you. Ask the universe. It's there for us. It's there for us. It's there to give us everything beautiful and blessed. And I feel beautiful and blessed you're with me. Check out the description box for all of my links. If you subscribe to my monthly newsletter, you receive a free copy of another mini book of mine called The Higher Self Blueprint of Mastery. I thank you so much. And I'll be YouTube living it on October 19th, the debut of my book, The Reiki Apprentice. I'm really stoked, really excited to see you then. And remember, I'll put a little mini video up of if I have an idea of the time, otherwise I'll just wing it and I'll just be like, woo! Blessings. Namaste, everyone.